Hi, I'm Blythe McLennan.
And I'm Tarn Kruger.
And we're researchers from RMIT University, and we're here to give you an update on what we've been doing in the last 3 months for the Adapting the Sector component of the Enabling Sustainable Emergency Volunteering project for the Bushfire Natural Hazards CRC. Okay, so the main piece of activity we've been engaged in over the last 3 months has really been pulling together the first main component of our environmental scan, which is based on interviews with managers from emergency management organisations. Tarn will talk a little bit more about those interviews in a moment. But at the moment we're completing analysis of interviews and looking at how we present findings from those interviews in a really impactful way. And we'll be presenting on our findings from that at the Research Advisory Forum that the Bushfire Natural Hazards CRC is running in Sydney on the 12th and 13th of April, and we'll have a report out on that very shortly. Just for our local government participants, just to let you know, we'll be reporting on interviews from local government in a separate report. And the other main piece of work we're doing is really planning and setting up for our next major stage of our environmental scan, which is pulling in input and insights from emergency management volunteers and from organisations and groups in the community and voluntary sector. We've got two main pieces of work that we're doing for that. One is we will be circulating by invitation only an open-ended survey with representatives of key groups, and that will include emergency management leadership groups, youth networks, community-based emergency planning groups, non-traditional volunteer leaders and others. And our advisory group has really been helping us to identify people that we can invite to that survey. And the other key piece of work for getting input to that part of the environmental scan, so we're very lucky to have the support of the CEO network for the volunteer and peak organisations in Australia for this work, and we'll be conducting a group interview with the CEOs in early May to look at shifts and changes in the voluntary sector more broadly and how they will be impacting on emergency volunteering into the future.
I'm going to talk about the fieldwork. So to date we've completed nearly 50 interviews involving 56 participants from local government, NGOs and emergency management organisations across Australia. We've tried to get a good geographical spread to include all states and territories to talk about before, during and after disaster experiences. We've all but finished the fieldwork, except for a couple of people who unfortunately were called away to cyclone and flood events in the north of Australia. So all participants talked about the need for change for the future so that emergency volunteering can better adapt to challenges such as climate change and social factors such as the changing nature of volunteering, so that communities and local government can, and government at all levels can utilise dollars better in the future for disasters. We now have a rich amount of information with major trends which will likely shape the future of emergency volunteering. We'd like to thank everyone that's been involved, and all will receive copies of our findings along the way and any draft reports for people to comment on. So thanks a lot.
So the last thing we wanted to mention in this update was what we have planned for the Research Advisory Forum in Sydney on the 12th and 13th of April. So our project has two presentations on the second day, the 13th, and a breakout session that we'll be doing, RMIT and UWA teams will be doing together. And this is just a heads up to our end users that if you're coming along to our breakout session, we intend to put you to work. So we're going to be workshopping some utilisation options that we've been planning and working on and really getting some stakeholder input to those. So we look forward to seeing some of our end users in Sydney there on the 13th.